Hello and welcome to the John Ark Show. Today's episode is called 9 Reasons to Start a New Business Right After an Economic Crash. One of the best times to start a new business is right after the economy crashes. We'll tell you why in just a minute. Before we begin, I want to encourage you to subscribe, like, follow, and comment on the show, as well as tell you about HollywoodIsCalling.com. It's a company that allows you to purchase live calls with more than 100 of your favorite celebrities for just $19.95. You can get a 15-second call for $20 and a 30-second call for $30. And it's a great way to treat yourself to a special gift or use the calls as a special gift for somebody you care about. The celebrity can call you live or they can leave a message on your voicemail, and that way you can play it back for all your friends. So give it a try. HollywoodIsCalling.com. Now let's get started. One of the wealthiest men in America recently said that the best time to start a new business is right after the economy crashes. And not only do we agree with him, but we're going to give you some tips and strategies to help you if you decide to do that. The first reason to do so is that after the economy crashes, opportunities abound everywhere. When businesses fail, they fail for a lot of reasons. For some, it's because they ran out of cash. For others, it's because they were mismanaged and they never really knew what they were doing. This causes a thinning of the herd and a reduction in the amount of competition, and that's usually a good time to enter the marketplace, especially if you have a great business idea. The next reason is that when things collapse, prices collapse. When there's a serious collapse in the economy, that's usually when asset prices completely drop, they collapse, they implode. Sellers become more desperate because of this. And so what do? They drop their prices. They want to unload those assets. This means that you may be able to acquire the asset of your choice for pennies on the dollar. And that's really important because a lot of times, in fact, most of the time, whether you turn a profit or not is often determined by how much you pay for something, not how much you sell it for. Next, we have the real estate opportunity. If you're interested in real estate or becoming part of the real estate business, then I believe that the residential and commercial real estate prices are about to begin declining, and that will probably continue for the next couple of years at the very least. We suspect that home prices will trend downward by about 20% over the next 24 months. And that should make it easier for investors to get into the business by becoming landlords. If you're going to enter the real estate business, then there are some things you should know. First, you need to learn the 3 classes of real estate categories. Class A are the highest quality of property and they're usually located in really good neighborhoods. They're typically built in the last 15 years and they're always in high demand, so that allows you to charge a higher rent for those properties. Next, you have Class B real estate. These properties are generally older than Class A properties, and they usually have lower income tenants. They may also not be professionally managed by a full-time property manager. A lot of investors like to buy Class B properties so that they can renovate them, and in doing so, they can increase their value and upgrade them to Class A properties. Doing that will also allow them to raise the rent. Now, Class C properties are usually a couple of decades older and located in even worse neighborhoods. They usually need even more renovation than Class B properties. And because of that, their rental prices are even lower than Class B properties. If you're thinking about getting into the real estate industry, then here are some tips and strategies for you. Buying property in a college town is usually a good idea because you can subdivide the individual rooms and occupy them with a bunch of college students who will pay an even higher price to rent them than you'd get by renting the entire home to a single family. The other thing you want to remember to do is always to have the parents co-sign on the lease so that if the children destroy the place during a wild party, the parents will be obligated to pay for the damages. The next thing you need to know about starting a real estate business is that you have to be hands-on in the beginning. If you relegate everything to a real estate management company when you're starting out, then you'll never learn anything and they'll take 8 to 10% of your profits right off the top. In the beginning, you have to learn what's going on, what things need to cost, and when you're being overcharged for something, how to hire a contractor, how to hire a maintenance person, how to charge the correct amount of rent. You have to learn all these things. Once you do learn them, it'll make it harder for contractors, tenants, and maintenance people and management companies to rip you off in the future. The next strategy you need to take to heart is that cash is king. Cash is always king, but when the economy crashes, having cash on hand gives you even more negotiating leverage than ever before. This means you'll be able to strike better terms when buying an asset. You'll be able to hire prospective new employees for better wages. And when you're looking for vendors to hire, you'll be able to negotiate the best possible deals with them as well. Remember, vendors are always desperate for new customers, and even more so when the economy tanks. That allows you to negotiate really good terms with them. The next strategy is to do everything with vendors and contractors on a month-to-month basis. When the economy goes south, then you should insist on all your vendor contracts, all your maintenance contracts, all the people that you do business with, all those contracts have to be at-will contracts, which allow you to fire people, vendors, and contracts at any time and for any reason. You do not want to be tied to a contractor or a vendor for 12 months of the year if you determine 3 weeks into that contract that they're incompetent or just incapable of doing the work to your standards. You always need the ability to replace contractors and vendors and maintenance people immediately. Next, I'd like you to keep subscription services in mind. If you're thinking about starting a new business, a new service business, then try and make it one which will allow you to charge an ongoing subscription fee of some sort. A few years back, Apple began offering subscription services, and now that sector of their business is the one that's generating tremendous cash flow while the economy has slowed down. And the sale of premium price computers and smartphones has also dramatically slowed. But those subscription services, they're now generating mountains of cash for Apple. If you want to open a bar or a restaurant, then create a subscription service which can deliver fresh meals to customers who live in your neighborhood. If you want to open a liquor store, then some states are now allowing for the free online deliveries of food as a way to sell more products to customers outside of your stores. Next, there is the consulting opportunity. If you work for a consulting company or you have tremendous expertise in your profession, then you can always generate more revenue by setting up your own service and then making your expertise available online. Consulting services have always been perceived as something that were really expensive and often something that only Fortune 1000 companies could afford and purchase. But that's not the case. Because there are now so many small and medium-sized businesses that are struggling in this collapsing economy, you should consider marketing your consulting services to them at an aggressive rate. Next, we have a massive new opportunity, and that is a teleworking temporary agency. The economy has taught a lot of Fortune 1000 companies that allowing their employees to telework from home has made it possible for them to dramatically reduce their overhead. Because of that, we believe there will be a significant demand for new temp agencies that specialize in providing employees that have been trained and certified to work from home for their employer. Providing workers like that will help companies lower their overhead and reduce their payroll costs at the same time. We suspect this will be a billion-dollar new opportunity. Now, the next strategy is the creation of next-generation daycare and babysitting services. The current economy has placed a tremendous amount of stress on parents and their children. What's needed is a next-generation babysitting or daycare operation that links children and parents with a live video connection via smartphone or iPad so that they can interact constantly with their individual children throughout the day while the parent is still working and while the child is being taken care of. A lot of daycare centers already have online video monitoring, but that's not what we're talking about. That just allows them to go online and watch an entire room of little babies running around and playing. We're talking about setting up a live streaming service that allows individual parents to communicate with their individual child through FaceTime or Zoom at any time of day. This will provide a greater sense of security and comfort for both the child and the parent while their two are separated during a workday. It would also be a great new way for a daycare center or babysitting service to promote their services with a competitive advantage to prospective new customers. Thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.